Hey friends, it's Allison here, jumping in real quick before you get into all the juicy details of today's episode. Did you know there is just one more week left to our 200th episode giveaway where you have the chance to win a full ride scholarship to the Better Belly Blueprint? This is the way to heal your gut so that you can poop daily, ditch acid reflux, and balance your hormones even when nothing else has worked. Here's how you can enter. Leave a rating and review on the Better Belly podcast on Apple Podcast or Spotify between now and May 29th. Take a screenshot of that rating and review, then go to betterbellytherapies.com/giveaway and fill out our 200th episode giveaway form. You will automatically receive an email with a code for $200 off the Better Belly Blueprint, which you're going to get as soon as you send in that form. And then a full scholarship winner is going to be announced on May 30th and messaged by email. If you win, you're going to win a full scholarship to the Better Belly Blueprint. And if you don't win, you can still get $200 off, which is 20% off of the Better Belly Blueprint if you join by May 31st at midnight. So go ahead and leave a rating and review. Get that giveaway form filled out at betterbellytherapies.com/giveaway, and you can finally end your constipation, acid reflux, and PMS for good. If you have been listening to any of our podcasts, you know that I end every episode with the same quote. Miracles are immediate, but healing takes time. I don't know if you know what that means or if you've ever found the quote interesting or not quite sure where it came from. So today I wanted to share more about the background to that quote, when I first started saying it, and why I think it's such an important thing to share at the end of every episode. Because not only when we're getting healthier do we want to focus on the mechanics of health, whether that's the supplements, the medication, the lifestyle, the sleep, or anything else that we're changing, but we also want to pay attention to our mindset as we're healing and curating our expectations so we always move forward with less disappointment and more hope. Welcome to the Better Belly Podcast, where we find freedom from food restrictions, we increase energy in our lives, and we begin to feel healthy and vibrant again by finding the root cause of our gut health problems. My name's Allison Jordan, marathon runner, functional medicine practitioner, certified craniosacral therapist, gut health nerd, lover of Jesus, and owner of the Better Belly Therapies, a clinic based in Ann Arbor, Michigan that works with both virtual and local clients to help them achieve the best health of their life. I am here to walk with you on your journey to a better belly and a better life. We're going to go beyond popping a probiotic and checking out our poop. In this show, we are going to go deep into gut transformation strategies that last for life. If you're ready to feel your best, get ready to roll. You are in the right place. So to start off today's episode, I wanted to share the story of how the quote, miracles are immediate and healing takes time, came about. So I run a clinic that is based in Ann Arbor, Michigan. I also work with virtual clients, but for the first 2 years of my business, I only worked with clients locally. And I would notice that a lot of times when clients came in very reasonably, they would say, what should I expect at the end of this session? And how many sessions will this take? And how long will it take for me to get better? And I found that I started saying something to a client. I don't remember who it started with, but I basically looked at them and I said, I aim for miracles. I want you to get as healthy as fast as you can. And if you get better in one session, that's amazing. And occasionally that does happen. A majority of somebody's symptoms might go away in one session of me working with them in my clinic. But for the most part, I call those miracles. I'd never know quite when they're going to happen. It's hard to know if we're going to hit the head right on the nail, if we have the last symptom or the last cause, the last root problem going on in their health, that they come and see me and then it all goes away. But for the most part, most of the people I work with, they're in what I call a healing stage, and healing takes time. If you have a cut on your arm and you can do everything you possibly want. You can put Neosporin on it and Band-Aids and keep it dry and just take care of it all day long, and yet it's gonna still take about about the same amount of time to heal. And for bigger breaks, whether you have a scrape on your arm versus a bone break, and there's even different levels of bone breaks and injuring our bones, that's also going to take a different amount of time to heal. So when I talk with clients, I found myself just bringing in more and more, being able to share, miracles are immediate. Like, let's aim for the miracle. Let's aim for the short and quick and long-term change and healing. But if that doesn't happen, that doesn't mean we're not getting better. One of the things I really liked about this quote when I started using it, though, is that I also have gone on a bit of a healing journey. I talk about it in episode 1, and you can listen to that after this episode. But basically, one of the reasons that I really felt this quote was important was because when I was doing all of my research online and Googling and trying to find the right recipes and fermented foods and probiotics and all the things we've already been talking about thus far, I kept expecting to find the one fix, the one diet, the one food change, the one food to take out of my diet, the one thing that if I just did it right, everything would fall into place. What I find more often, and as I've done more research and learned and studied and worked with more and more people, is that by the time you have chronic, whether it's low grade, high grade, but chronic long-term symptoms, there's more than just one problem going on. It's more than just taking gluten out. It's more than just sleeping more or doing yoga or doing exercise. It is really about finding what are the cluster of things going on. And it's about talking and thinking about what are a cluster of things and what I call vital voids. Often the best thing you can do when you work with somebody else on your health is that they have a different perspective and they can think about things that you may never be able to Google or think of on your own, of what other things you can try and even look into that might be causing all of your symptoms. So here is a helpful illustration that I like to think about with your health. So I want you to imagine you are the Titanic. You are an awesome, beautiful boat that is state of the art, going to transfer people in luxury across the ocean. And you are living your best life, just killing it. You're being an awesome mom, an awesome dad. You might have your own career, side hustle. You are running your own business. You are involved in your communities and in your family, and you are doing it. But as you're going along on your journey, you come across an iceberg. And sometimes these icebergs, they're really big and obvious. It's like the one time after I had appendicitis, or the one time after I got pregnant and gave birth. And maybe it was your first birth, maybe it was your third birth, but there's this one point in time where maybe everything changed. And sometimes it's really obvious and sometimes it's not. Maybe it was the summer after your freshman year and nothing major happened that you were aware of, but suddenly things just really shifted in your health. Or maybe it was after a job change or after moving to a new city or moving to a new home. And the question is, well, nothing changed other than a few things. And nothing major, maybe no car accident or anything that you thought of as health, but things just shifted in your body and you started getting pain or constipation or bloating or didn't sleep as well. All these things started accruing. And that's you on the Titanic and you hit an iceberg or you hit a bunch of little icebergs and they start causing leaks in your boat. So you have the event, which is hitting the iceberg. Then number 2, you have the injury in your hull of your boat. And that is water pouring into your boat and all the cascading effects of this event or even a season of life. That season of life could have lasted a month, 2 months, 2 years. I have some people who I work with who've had stuff going on for 10 years, high levels of stress, and they said nothing really changed. I've only been in stress for 10 years, and their body could handle it until then, but at a certain point, it wasn't able to handle it. So water's pouring into your Titanic, and the first thing that you want to do is stop hitting icebergs and get yourself away from the iceberg. So a lot of clients that I work with, they've said, well, I changed the job that was stressful, or I took some antibiotics and I killed the infection that happened, or I'm not pregnant anymore. So I did that. Or you go and you get pelvic floor therapy or physical therapy. Maybe you go to a chiropractor and you kind of feel better. You get better from that event or from that season of life. And that's you getting away from your icebergs. And then the problem is, okay, now you're away from the iceberg, but you have to stop the influx of water. So water's pouring in, you have to fix your hole. So you start to do some things like sleeping more and changing your diet and maybe meditation. You go and get counseling. You pray more or do supportive mental exercises, breathing techniques, and guided meditation, and lots of different things that you can do to support the healing process in your body. Maybe you take probiotics and supplements, and you do a lot of Googling and researching, and you fix the holes in your hull, the hull of the boat, and water stops coming in. Okay, that's step number 2. Stop the cascading effects of your event or your season of life that cause your body to malfunction. And then lastly, there's actually kind of 2 steps, but lastly, you want to get the water out of your boat. And then you also, along with that, want to fix any problems that the water caused when it came in. That can be, we're thinking about Titanic. The Titanic didn't last it this long, but if the Titanic did just make it to the other side of the ocean, they might have some electrical problems that happen from the water coming in. They might have mold, they might have rusting. And so they're going to need to take care of the long-lasting, further on down symptoms that might seem either unconnected or somehow unrelated to any specific event. So that is the 3 stages that I find people in, and they either just had something really traumatic happen to them, whether that's getting diagnosed with cancer or having a major surgery or going through a divorce, and they're starting to see symptoms in their body. They're not sleeping well, their energy's really low, they're foggy headed, they're getting bloating and nausea can sometimes happen, difficulty eating food, big feelings of fullness, and they're like, oh, what's going on? Sometimes I catch people and they're like, hey, I had the event, I fixed some stuff, I'm doing better, but why do I have all these lingering things going on? And maybe it's my diet. And if you've listened to this podcast, I'm highly suspicious that it's not just diet, and it might not be diet at all. And then lastly, it's even picking up after that of cleaning out the water and dealing with all the water damage. If you've ever had a house flood, that is also a really similar thing where the house is still there. It didn't get carried off in the flood. That's a whole nother level of damage, but there's a lot of repairs that need to be happened. The carpet taken out and the walls torn down, etc. And you might be thinking, well, Allison, gee, all of that takes a long time and sounds like a lot of work. And what I hope when you hear that is not just disappointment of like, that's going to take a long time to take care of everything, but also if you're not seeing immediate results from whatever you're doing, all the things that I've mentioned, your yoga, your stretching, your exercise, trying to get to sleep at a regular time, trying to support sleeping through the night, then sometimes all we need is time. And maybe you're working with a practitioner and they've given you some stuff to do, and there's maybe not everything's fixed all at once. And sometimes we'll actually see some symptoms flare up as we go through a healing process. One thing that I see is a lot of clients that I work with, as we're supporting their body, they'll have a flare up because their immune system, which 80% of it is in our gut, their immune system is depressed. And as we support their body, their immune system starts to come back online. And so they start to actually have maybe skin problems, hives or rashes, or just nausea or diarrhea. And they're saying, Allison, what's going on? Am I getting worse? And looking at whatever's going on, we sometimes come to the conclusion, we think that your body's just simply starting to come awake to what's going on. And so it's starting to heal itself. It's starting to notice, I do have an infection. I do have a parasite. And so some of the water that can get left in our boat might be a prolonged dysbiosis in the gut where you took an antibiotic to kill one major bug, but then all your other bugs, all the other little microbiome flora in your gut get out of balance, or you take an antibiotic and you think a bug is gone, but it's still there, or there's another one there that didn't show up on the test that your doctor did for you. And so really wanting to underturn every rock and say, what else is going on that's maybe keeping me sick, that's making me not feel well? And lastly, there's this other interesting phenomena that we all have different genes and genetic makeup. And so when 2 people who maybe go to the same work and they do similar job and they both have kids or they've both been pregnant and they maybe look like they have a really similar life and maybe they both go to yoga. I mean, I know lots of people who say, well, my friend does all the same things as me, but they don't have all the same symptoms as me. They don't get injured as frequently, or they have more energy than me, or they don't struggle with foggy headedness. Well, they have a different genetic makeup, and that genetic makeup can make them prone to maybe being able to go longer under seasons of stress, and that can include marathon running is this type of stress. There are so many different types of stress, guys, and they can go through the same thing and maybe just be able to handle it a little better. Or you never know, they may just be getting different symptoms that they're not aware of, or that are just very different than yours. So that is why I love to say miracles are immediate and healing takes time. It really covers a lot of compassion for what's going on in your body as you are trying to do the right things. And honestly, if you've been trying to put all the pieces together for however long, the last 5 years, 10 years, 2 years, a month, you have started to make steps that the next time you try something new, the next time that you put another input into your body that is healthy and trying to heal those vital voids, you're going to be that much closer to really getting that click where you look at your Titanic ship and you say, she is as beautiful as she was the day she was born, but now she has weathered the storm and she is ready to take on more passengers and continue forward stronger than ever. So that is my encouragement to you all today. I hope that you are encouraged. I hope that every time you hear me say that quote, that you're reminded of the fact that you're on a journey. And I am so proud of you. I'm so proud of everything that all these beautiful men and women that I work with, that they are doing to go to the next step and honestly change future generations. Think about all the things that they learn, they can pass down to their children on healthy eating and body awareness and safe body movement. And I have a lot of clients who they apply it to taking care of their parents who are older than them, or taking care of their siblings, and just being an overall great asset to their community of things that they learn and ways that they learn to be both clever and committed to their health and the health of those around them. As for the question, how long should it take me to heal? That is something that I would love to talk with you about, or something that you could talk about with your doctor or practitioner, because healing is different for everyone. And especially if you want to think about the Titanic, or you want to think about a flood and a house getting water damage, the bigger the event, so oftentimes the longer it may take. And then the longer the event lasted for, or the season lasted for, sometimes that can also affect how long it takes to heal. There is no judgment for how long it'll take you to heal. It could be a month, it could be a year. In my experience, it took me about 2 years to really feel like I was back to where I started. But honestly, I'm more than 2 years away from my significant debilitative digestive dysfunction. And I can now say that I am currently healthier and in a better place than I can ever remember. Ever, guys, ever. Because when I was a kid, you may have heard me say before, I struggled with anxiety and depression. And only in the last few years have I been able to say, I am regularly not anxious. I am regularly not depressed. I am not on medication. Not that medication is bad, but only as a marker for saying, this is how well I actually am feeling, that I feel safe and I feel positive and I feel energized even without medication, which was very helpful for me for many years. And so I have more energy. I have more hope. I have more energy is huge, guys. I could talk all day on the importance of energy, and we actually will be in future episodes, but it is one of the 3 most important assets that we have control of in our lives. And so really wanting to cultivate that. And if you are looking for more energy in your life, I would love to talk with you, because I love finding hacks and I love finding, again, those vital voids that are just keeping us back from that next level in our life. There's always a next level, guys. This is not your practice life, as my friend Sarah Walton says in her podcast, The Game On Girlfriend Show. This is your real life. I hope you embrace it and enjoy the journey forward. If you love this episode, we have so much more coming down the line. Subscribe so you never miss a beat. And if you love this episode, take a screenshot and share it with a friend. I cannot count how many times when I tell someone I'm a gut health therapist that they say, "Oh, my friend or family, sister, niece needs you." So send that friend a love note to their gut and do us a favor and pass this podcast along to them. Other ways you can stay connected in the conversation is by following us on Instagram and Facebook at Better Belly Therapies. We love connecting with our listeners, and it means so much if you drop by and said hi. We'd love to hear what you thought of the episode and see what any of your major takeaways were. And in the meantime, I'll leave you with my favorite quote: "Miracles are immediate. Healing takes time."